It's shish kebab night. Stay here and see how I put together these pork shish kebabs for the barbecue tonight. Okay, for the shish kebabs, we're going to start with a variety of vegetables. We'll be skewering them along with the pork. I'm using some zucchini, some peppers, red and orange and green, and onion and mushrooms. You can add anything you want. I'm going to be using metal skewers. You could use bamboo skewers. You have to soak them in water first, but I'm going to use metal. I'm going to be using a pork tenderloin. You know that your shish kebab will be tender and it won't be chewy, so I select pork. Usually shish kebabs are made with pork. You could use chicken also. You could also use a tenderloin beef and make it a fillet. And these tenderloins come like this. I'm going to cut it lengthwise, and it's a little bit frozen. That's a trick. It lets you cut it a little easier. So I'm going to cut 3 lengthwise pieces like this. I have my zucchini cut this thick. I have them cut rather thick. The pepper I cut in the middle, and I'm just going to cut it in half like this. You want all the pieces of your vegetables and your meat to be the same. Onions, I'm using wedges, thin wedges. And mushrooms, I'm using white button mushrooms. I took the stem off, and I'm just going to use the mushroom like that. I'm going to cut my pork in about a 2-inch, 1.5 to 2-inch piece, so it matches the size of the vegetables. Pork tenderloin cooks very fast. You could grill these on the barbecue, or you could use your broiler in the house in your oven. When you have a thin piece, like this is pretty thin, you just take it and fold it over and skewer that because it's so thin. Now once we have all the pork cut into the pieces, we're going to season it and let it sit in here and marinate with this seasoning. Salt, plenty of pepper, oregano, and some garlic powder. Again, because pork tenderloin doesn't have a lot of fat, we want to give it some fat. So we're going to use a little olive oil here on top of the pieces of pork. Rub it in. No citrus at this point. We'll let our pork sit in the container until we're ready to skewer it. I always start with a pepper. It kind of gives you a little backing to line things up. You take your meat and you don't want to skewer it straight across. I skewer it going lengthwise like this. It allows for the meat to cook evenly. And then I'll put a zucchini, put another piece of meat, I'll put a mushroom, and I think I'm going to add the onion now. You can alternate, or you could do them, you could line them up any way you like. And I'm going to end it with another pepper. I got 3 pieces of pork on there. These are big skewers, something like this. Another trick with this is you don't necessarily have to line it with vegetables. You could do a whole line of the pork, and you can grill your vegetables on the side. This way you have no problem of them falling off, or sometimes the mushrooms get soggy and they do fall off. Presentation, this is a pretty skewer for shish kebab. Okay, here's all the shish kebab. I did put them on the skewers. They're all done. I had extra vegetables, and if you have more than you needed extra vegetables, you can make a skewer of vegetables. This is what you're going to need for when you're cooking them. Olive oil. I'd start with 1/3 cup of olive oil. You're going to want the juice of 1 lemon. We're going to season this marinade with some salt and pepper. Basically, it's the same spices we used before. A little garlic powder and some oregano, about a teaspoon or so. And I'm going to whisk this marinade, and we'll be using this marinade to baste our shish kebabs while they're on the grill. Here's something I'm going to make. I don't have anything to do with this brand, but I use this brand quite a bit for pilaf. I'm going to make this brown rice pilaf to go with my shish kebabs tonight. So we'll put them on the grill like so. I have the grill on a medium high. And now we'll just baste them before we get started. We'll keep them on for 3 minutes before we turn them. So you want to turn your shish kebab over, give it another baste, and we'll let them cook for 3 minutes again. And we'll do this until we have the pork completely cooked. Cooking the shish kebab took between 12 and 18 minutes based upon your grill, how high you have your flame, and turning them every 3 minutes keeps them evenly in cooking. Here we go. Here's the rice pilaf I was talking about. It's excellent. And if you have any leftover marinade, you can drizzle some on top of your shish kebab. So tender. A delicious plate to put together, and a rice pilaf goes really well with it. An impressive dinner for anyone. Very simple to make. Follow the instructions and you'll have yourself some beautiful pork shish kebabs. If you like this recipe, follow for more.